Hello everyone. Hello everyone. This is DJ.
This is Marco.
And Michał.
And this is CG Talks, the podcast where CG guys talk about CG. And this time we'll be talking about CG in November 2020.
Yeah, November updates.
Yeah, all of the interesting bits of news that happened this month. There are quite a lot, actually.
Corona
Right,
vaccine.
Yeah,
Corona.
maybe we should start with that.
5.1.
Congratulations, everybody.
The Noiser vaccine. Yeah.
Yeah, but the first thing maybe I wanted to start it off was kind of like where we left off with the last episode, which was the episode with Mr. Erin.
Aaron from Arendelle fame.
So we were talking about November, which is kind of like a new thing, but not so new this year. An online social event on everything procedural. Like it started off with Blender, I think, in the Blender world, but the interesting thing this year is that it kind of seems to grow outside of the Blender realm.
And
to other softwares as well.
You know, even the rules for new November, there was that part about music, creating music for videos, and there were also some procedural constraints for procedural music. So it was like larger thing. At least
like the spirit of proceduralism in general, right?
Yeah.
Even outside of CG, which is cool.
Yeah, it is cool. Like I can imagine that, of course it can remain CG, but after years it can be something bigger, like, procedural screenwriting or whatever. Like
Oh man.
So,
Well, I'm not sure. I'm not sure if that's if I'm gonna look forward to that. But at the very least, I'm like I remember we were talking about something like this before a couple of episodes back.
Yeah.
We were like, what sort of level of automation, right? Would you, or what situation would you like to have in terms of, like having, your pipeline automated. So maybe it really will come to pass. Like maybe you really can conjure up, like entire worlds with just a few clicks, and then you can really concentrate on the like hopefully like you get freed up to concentrate on developing the actual story and the screenplay, but then like all of the tedious stuff is automated, and then you can always just choose to go hands-on if you're on major pieces, or the ones that you're really invested in.
Yeah, but by the way, when it comes to November, if you like to watch the results, you can just type November 2020 results, and it's a Curtis Holt video. And for me, I mean, I was not very much into this, so that video showed me just the level of it, like what's like finally what's the effect, and the effects are stunning. And also, I noticed that Erin, who we interviewed last
episode,
he uploaded some videos also related to November. I think as far as I can see, he showed some more in-depth, working how it's called. The process of creating some of
breakdowns.
Like breakdowns. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. So
cool.
Exactly. He's even doing like tutorials on almost like tutorials on vector displacement and stuff. If you want to get into this, so it's kind of like it seems like black magic first, but I think once you get into it, it's like with Houdini, right? Everyone's like scared of Houdini, and then when you finally pass that threshold and start doing something like people are doing stuff with that Houdini. It's not like it's also software for people, right? It's not for some superhumans.
Yeah, now I know. Like after last week conversation with Erin, because
and talking about Houdini in this area, I wanted to introduce one news that we had on this year's November. It was that Epic Games became an investor in Side Effects, so they are
they just buy their stocks or something.
I think so. Yeah, right, like a part of share.
Mm-hmm.
Like they became a minor shareholder, I think, or something like that. So
I wonder, it's just if it is like only. I don't think they're doing clean economic investment. They are not some, stock players rather. So it's like a strategical one. So I guess I wonder why it's to if you in Epic in these games you create a lot of particle stuff.
Mm-hmm. Like, I think like Houdini is widely used for like high end VFX generally, right?
Mm-hmm.
Any kind of like simulations, fire.
Yeah, but I was thinking that it's also needed in games. Like at some point I was like going through some job offers, and I found a lot of offers in game dev for people who work with all kind of particle generators, stuff like that. To create all these like magician spelling spells and simpler things like fire and stuff like that. Mm-hmm. But mostly it was for all these like this eye candy effects of some stuff blowing and some stuff like that.
It can be like this stylized fantasy, but if you go into any kind of like modern game world, it's either, even if it's realistic, it's either warfare or some kind of I don't know, car chases, explosions. There's a lot of room for VFX and physics simulations all across the game dev, right?
Yeah, that's true.
Especially that the games are so demanding these days. It's not like you just put a few pixels together. It's just it just needs to be in your face.
Yeah, gameplay has to be cool.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. You can always play something in the text mode.
Yeah. I mean, recently I watched a video of the guy, like 20 biggest mistakes of your computer games pitches. Like the guy who's like.
Oh yeah. Yeah. Is that from GDC?
I don't remember, but this guy was very experienced, and he was this like the guy who welcomes the teams who want to develop their games, and they're going to some studio and stuff like that. And basically, when you go through all these 20 mistakes, you can underline it with the gameplay is the what games are about, what people are doing there, why it's going to be fun and involving. So like when people start from lore and stuff like that, this is the end of the pitch.
Oh.
Yeah.
Yeah, I guess that's I don't know. Like that would probably be one of my pitfalls. Not that I develop games, obviously, but I'm a total lore freak.
Yeah, me too. I mean, I would also, like, lore. I would think that this is like, but if you're a storyteller, not a game designer, and you think that what game you would create, you'd probably start from lore, and you think that it's important. But it's, I mean, this guy actually explained, like, if you are talking about writing in computer games pitch, then this writing has to be like the core of the game. Like this is going to be, maybe, I don't know, you are making some investigation based on letters or diary, or actually there was this game, the Darkest Dungeon, I think. I mean, it was like it had its gameplay, but also there was this strange ghost which were narrating all that stuff with this voice, and so it was important. So I guess yeah.
Well, that's really cool.
Yeah,
actually, speaking of, since we're talking about games, another interesting bit of news that is that I think this was announced on the second week of November. But if you're familiar with the BAFTA award-winning What Remains of Edith Finch game, that was made in Unreal, like there was a game that won an award that was made in Unreal, and we'll add a link to the blog post in the description. But if any of the listeners are know it, then yeah. Anyway, I won't go into the details, but if you're familiar, whether you're familiar with this game or not, all of the not all of the assets, but around 3,000 assets of like the stylized meshes and the textures that they made for the game, and the materials are available on the Unreal Marketplace for free. So if anyone is an Unreal developer here, Christmas came early for you guys, because I'm not sure what whether you're allowed to use this commercially or in a game that you're going to be selling. But it's worth investigating, because you can download these assets for free off the marketplace, and
it's more difficult, let's say, to use ready assets to any project. But for example, textures, if there are lots of them, there's always something that you can you can even like quickly, you don't like add some work in Photoshop, but you have like this base information, like how much stylized it can be, or how much alien materials can they be.
Yeah. Oh well, they actually look pretty stylized. Like they're all hand painted. So, but then like I think there are materials here that have tileable maps that you can adjust. You can bring it to Quixel Mixer, right, and adjust there. And also you like the meshes are. Yeah, like I know what you mean about.
Cool.
Like,
I don't know, Marco, if you. Okay, I can hear you. Just for a moment, I couldn't hear you, and I've heard some noise like of making a call.
Oh no,
DJ, can you hear us?
Yes, everything's fine.
We're all still
okay,
good.
So we'll just cut it out.
Okay. No worries. Well, hopefully it doesn't happen again. But yeah, basically, at least the meshes. Well, there are a lot of them that you might actually be able to reuse if you retextured them. Like the game takes place in sort of a house, so you've got all of these little doodads that you could definitely bring into your own game or animation depending on what's allowed. So yeah,
that's cool, especially if this is a big library. Then you can use it like in a consistent way, even if it's like looking for stuff. Sometimes like on Turbo Squid, there are some assets like random stuff, and this is something that's you need to pay more for if you want to a set which is consistent.
Yeah, that's true. So, but yeah, I guess. Actually, I'm beginning to think that part of an essential skill set for 3D artists now is definitely being able to kit bash, or being able to rework existing models into something new. But anyway.
You're talking about repurposing stuff that you already made
or other people made that you can bring in and repurpose and make it look
I wanted to mention one thing that came out this month. So it was the new version of Marvel's Designer, and one of the features that they introduced in this new release was a way of auto-fitting garments that are pre-made. You create an outfit, for example, for a character, and then you have an option to automatically resize it to a different avatar of like a different character with different features. You just have to apply some parametric measures for just like you would for a tailored suit or something like that. You have to apply these parameters to the whole thing, and then it just automatically fits the outfit, the garment to the new character.
So
Wow.
like you have a, let's say, a suit, and for I don't know, sports guy, and it will remake it for I don't know,
for Danny DeVito.
Yeah.
Exactly. Something like that, right?
He will do the the ballet dancer for Danny DeVito, the costume.
Yeah.
Oh, that's cool. Yeah, that's
Yeah.
that's very nice.
You know what's funny is no, well, that no, that's not it. I wouldn't even compare, but there was I don't know if you guys have ever seen Make Human. It's like some open source
human creation
generator. Yeah. Honestly, I wouldn't really like the characters themselves, like they're a little, I don't know. I mean, I guess I'm just kind of particular about characters, so I don't really I wasn't really able to use the meshes in actual production for anything, but they're great as like posable reference for digital painting, or if you want to do some early concepts. And if you need a pair of hands or something and you don't really care too much to make your own, then I mean that's it comes in handy. And anyway, this Make Human, one of the cool features they had was, because you basically load in your own like they have these pre-made meshes, right? And then you can adjust them by their phenotype, by their body type, and then make manual adjustments to different parts of the body until you get like the character that you want. And so long as if you create like clothes and import them into the app, it doesn't, because the clothes are going to be fit onto the morphable base mesh. It's kind of the same thing where you can have like a dress and then like have it fit onto a very slim character, or even a very like you could change it midway and decide that your character needs to be, I don't know, something more akin to like Conan the Barbarian or something, and then but it will fit automatically to the new body type. But of course, I'm sure
lacking the awesome cloth simulation features of Marvel's, right? Because it just it just updates the base of the garment, and then it just applies the simulation to it, so it's kind of like naturally wrinkled and all things that
I think it's just like just a mesh that you can fit. I think it's like the principle behind it is kind of something close to shape keys.
Mm-hmm.
That's you're basically just wrapping the mesh.
Actually, I noticed there's Poser and Das 3D, and I was looking for something that would even take very default human figures and meshes, but give more options of posing, like I don't know how to call it, like more natural poses. I was thinking that I wonder if there is because there are now these programs which are automatically capturing the moves of a person from a footage, and they are animating the real character, like motion capture, stuff like that. And I was thinking that if it would be cool there was a program like that you could just enter a picture of or a frame from a movie, like I don't know, Goodfellas, and take some poses and then modify them. But I was trying to pose some of the characters in one of the online creators, and I think in Das 3D or Poser, and it was tough. It was
it's a little counterintuitive.
Yeah. It's like yeah, it was maybe, I mean, for sure, lack of skill and experience and understanding, but it was really like I was able to. It was really counterintuitive. Like
Mm-hmm.
I would be able to take like this one of these like wooden dolls for making poses for drawing. They're just this popular, like this little
Right, yeah. The
golems.
mannequins.
Yeah. So that would be easy to for me to pose that such a thing looking at the photo. But with this computer ones, it was very difficult. I don't know why.
Yeah. It's kind yeah. But you know, I should have um there's I saw news recently about an app that allows you to animate characters with physics, or even import motion capture data and then have the data react as if it had actual weight. So yeah, like, so I mean, I think one cool workaround would be in the future, I think, would just be sort of finding like findings animation like in Mixamo or something similar, just importing mocap and then being able to run it through this software that gives you a sense of weight already in your reference. Like if you're if you're planning to do something 2D, or even just really use it for an animation, that would be really cool. And I saw some demos and it was really something, but I don't remember the name.
Another
But
level of quality and realism
yeah, crazy.
added.
Oh
Yeah, but I'm
sorry,
thinking,
but
I'm
the
thinking
reason
that
the reason I brought up Make Human, by the way, was because also just today, actually, I think Make Human 1.2.0 is released. So that's another bit of news. So if you don't know, Make Human community is like Make Human is an open source parametric digital human creator. And like they I didn't actually think they were active for a really long time, because I think they were stuck at like 1.1 in the 1.1.1 or something was the last time I checked. And anyway, it didn't seem like there was much movement.
Yeah, pretty sure that the devs had just like some extra time with the COVID thing.
Possibly. But yeah, it's pretty interesting news, because I really didn't think that they were still active. So yeah, if you guys are curious and or are aware of Make Human and are excited about this, there you go.
If devs decided about the number, it would be probably 0.0.0054, like in case of our software.
Yeah. But if it would be named by the the everyday regular 3D artist, it would be just like final finalist.
Recovery. Yeah. I mean, but it's this. Yeah, our marketing guys would call it like human maker after. I didn't want to say
next.
Yeah.
Yeah. X V or whatever. Yeah. Right. And then after 3 releases, they changed the convention.
There are trends like CS, then there are numbers, then there are years, then there are like in all software.
Yeah, but whatever the change of the numbering in releases was in past with Blender. The new Blender 2.91 finally came out this month as well. So
and we support it on farm already.
Yeah.
We've by the way new I've as far as I know, it's a new denoiser, at least for on our farm. The first customer asked about it. It's called Seed Denoiser, Super Image Denoiser, and I haven't compared it to other denoisers, but according to that customer, and it's a free denoiser, so you can download it from Gumroad, I think, and it's according to this customer, it's the fastest one. Like he chosen it because it was very, very fast. So you can check it. There are some videos on the Gumroad, and I guess some more technical data that would be more informative for you guys. I mean, potential users and Blender users. But yeah, we also have it. I just added it yesterday.
Oh, also
to the farm.
Speaking of Blender users, 2.91 has been released. And I'm pretty sure we've already implemented support on the farm, right?
Yeah. I just said it. We already have
sorry.
it. And on top
sorry,
of that,
I got mixed up. Yeah,
I added
Sorry,
Synthesizer to
steal
this. So yeah, we have it. Like, I mean, adding Blender to the farm is the easiest thing. Like, we add a lot of software all the time for request of customers, but really adding Blender, it's like sometimes like 15 minutes a new version. So basically, the first person which comes with a new Blender version, like renders with Blender in 30 minutes. I don't know, up to 1 hour maybe if there's some problems, but there are never problems. So
it's almost like it's almost like Waze, when you're the first person to go to like an unknown area, and you update the satellite map with that area. That's kind of how it is over at the farm with Blender.
It's like going to a restaurant and asking for a dish which they don't have, and they add it on menu within 15 minutes and they serve it to you. Yeah.
And by the way, the new release introduces some new pretty cool cloth sculpting features. Like in terms of this thing with posing characters, already there's the pose brush that can serve you for at least a rough, sketchy tool for posing the characters if you wish. But I think this was released in the previous release, but right now there's the cloth brush with collision respected. So the cloth brush in sculpt mode respects the collision with other objects. So it's kind of like even more useful right now than it was before.
Self collision as well?
I think not yet. I think it's just the collision with other objects. Well, from what I tested, but it's still in development, and there are I think there's also an option of plasticity of the material in the sculpt mode, so it's kind of like more. It's a little bit more realistic and smooth right now. Mm-hmm. So from a cool toy, it's slowly becoming a really, really useful tool. I mean, from what I've been testing it right now, it's more useful for like small tweaks that you want to do than like big things, because it's or maybe it's just like the question of getting used to the tool, because it has its own way of dealing with meshes. But so you need to definitely have some experience with it until you get the things that you want. But I'm pretty sure like it's already useful, and it will just become better.
Yeah, it sounds great. Like you can so basically you create a simulation of a cloth, and then you with a brush you can modify it, right?
Yeah, you can pinch it. There are a lot of settings that you can change. Like you can inflate it, grab it, pinch it in different ways.
Cool. But by the way, Andrew, like they earlier in November there was a cloth modifier released for 3ds Max. Did you hear about that?
I've heard about that. I haven't checked it, but I've heard about that. And
it seems.
Because it was, I think, I don't know if I didn't even hear it from you, DJ. Like this is the updates in software come in groups for all the software. Like it's that competition forces to release the similar tools for all the
I think ZBrush already has that as well, like in kind of like in parallel with Blender, like the sculpt cloth or something like that.
I think it has. Now I'm confused. Like I've heard a lot of cloth sculpting recently, so I'm not sure, but I think it has.
But it looks pretty interesting. So for Max users listening, You can find out more from KM3D. I guess is that a known developer for Macs?
I recently haven't used any new plugins in 3ds Max. I just stopped recently looking for new plugins and stuff like that. So I'm not sure. I'm like behind the cutting edge for 3ds Max, and also I'm not really going to do this rather now because I'm rather going to migrate to other software. So I'm not sure. KM, it says me something, but I guess guys who are listening probably know better. 3ds Max users.
Mm-hmm.
I would have to.
But just out of curiosity, what software were you thinking of migrating to?
So I some time ago I started to learn some Cinema 4D, and and I want to finally migrate to Blender, but I don't want to give up Cinema yet. I want to just play around with MoGraph and music, animating to music in Cinema 4D, and when I will. It's like I started that, so I have to at least finish it at some level, and then I will try to move to Blender. Like I watched your recording for new. We are going to have a new something like a tutorial, more like a fun video. I'm not going of creating some characters. I'm not going to tell more because we haven't released it yet.
No spoilers.
It's going to. It's going to be a cool video, and I noticed the workflow, and like I compared to mine, and it's like Blender looks so smart. Like comparing with all these tools, I don't know how to call it. I have to sit and analyze it, but it looks like you are very often doing several things at the same time with the mesh or the tools of modifying and moving and. I don't know these tools, but they look like when I watched my video, it looked much more crude. Like I'm doing everything from very simple like moves and modifications.
I had a similar impression when I was kind of like moving from Blender to Max, like trying to do specific things that I was able to do in Blender very quickly, and then learning to do them the Max way. It seems like Max has a lot of powerful features and tools, but they are kind of like how to say it? They are really precise, but they are kind of like cumbersome to use in terms of UI and the way that they are done. There's a lot of clicks involved. A lot of drop-down menus.
UI is another thing because it's it's so even if when I started using it like years ago, it was already. Kind of old school, and so I'm constantly watching this stuff in Blender, and I'm just I'm so I need to check this myself, and I just I
have a question though. Would you say that maybe a more appropriate name would be 3DS Min? Instead, no, I'm just kidding. I'm sorry, guys. No. Max listeners, I'm kidding.
Yeah, passing out to desk all the time.
Not trying to start anything here.
It's a great tool, anyways.
I'm going to do stuff for sure. Yes, Max, for near future, but I'm just don't want to like as we ask about the plugins, and it's also not want to go so much into my personal life, but I spent a lot of time on farm, not creating a lot of stuff. So I just, I actually, I know all these plugin developers because we support a lot of plugins, but I just have to check what they do to remember the developer. So and I'm moving to Blender.
More like but Blender is just getting like it's missing in a lot of areas still. Like it's not a perfect solution. Like probably there's no software that is really like perfect for everything. Like even the super Houdini evangelists, which can be proud of a lot of things that Houdini is capable of. They can still point out a lot of areas that need improvement, and it's natural, right? It's a constant development. situation. But Blender just got not just the cloth brush improvements, this one, and it's gotten like little ones, but pretty impressive ones. Like, for example, the options of changing volume to mesh and mesh to volume, like with 2 modifiers, so that you can. I think it's probably most useful for stylized art, but it's like it's kind of cool. It's kind of cool to create a simulation, smoke or whatever, and then turn it into a mesh. And you can do it vice versa, like turn a mesh into a volume. So you kind of, I think they demoed it on a lion's, a lion mesh. Some kind of like I already like thought about this, Mufasa in the clouds. So I'm thinking that this was the idea. Why to show it on a lion specifically, but pretty cool feature. I'm curious what people will come up with. Using that feature. And there's also like handy things like, for example, for me as an artist and interior artist, a really, really cool feature is the custom curve profiles for bevels. So if you make a curve and or mesh and bevel, and you can for example, very easily create moldings with curves right now or sophisticated.
Okay. So that was introduced Max 10 years ago.
Yeah.
There are actually two tools introduced Max for bevels. One was like loft or something like that, and the second one is just this this bevel modifier, and you have just this T like this T sections and stuff like that, but also you can load animation. It creates very easily these molds and all these finishings in buildings, interiors. So
yeah, that just goes to show that there are still things that Max can do better or could do better even 10 years ago. And
so I don't go to Blender. Just change my mind. No, I want to go to Blender just to check. It's like I watch like Erin Day. Like I started to watch a lot of YouTube Blender tutorials, and I noticed that people do very various kind of stuff, like very various kind of stuff with this. So I just want to at least check what's.
And if you're planning to go into any kind of area of NPR, I think like Blender is the way to go right now with the grease pencil, with the whole procedural thing coming, with the geometry nodes that are in development right now, and it's starting to it's all those tools combined into one piece of software. It just allows you for such a variety of experiments that you can do. Like you can do things that people writing the software didn't really think about when they were doing it, right? It's just because you can mix all those things together in one software.
And cool thing about learning other DCC than your base one, like your first one, which you know very, very well, is that you don't have to learn the whole thing. Like for Cinema 4D, at some point we got these scenes for Cinema 4D and Octane and for testing our desktop servers, GPU servers. And we wanted to show some renders of these scenes and to make some real for desktop and rendering Octane and in general rendering there. So I took these scenes and I really didn't know much about Cinema 4D, so I still don't know how to model, but it was very easy to open the this animator editor and to animate some of the stuff in these scenes. And it was a lot of fun. Like, okay, I know how to animate, like stuff started to rotate and, I just wanted to animate the stills. So very easy way. Then I noticed, okay, that's kind of logical and that's kind of easy. So I can now animate lights the same way or shaders, like very simple stuff. And so for the same reason, I want to check Cinema 4D for the MoGraph, and I don't have to model heavy stuff in Cinema 4D. I can model it in 3ds Max quickly and import it. So the same is with Blender. I'm sure I'm not going to go the normal way of going through like modeling and then I don't have to know that that software from A to Z. So that's cool that you can just.
That's the whole idea of the interoperability of softwares in a pipeline, and that's probably the most important thing that Blender is slowly getting into, right? Just becoming a partner of all the other softwares. And regarding that, the one news that I wanted to share is that Redshift is finally released as a beta, but released for Blender with a plugin. It's for now, I think it's only available for the owners of the paid license for Redshift, because it's for the version 3, Redshift 3, and yeah, you need to, there's no demo version of it yet, so you have to have a license of Redshift and then install this for Blender. So probably quite narrow group of Blender users will be able to test it right now, but it's already official, so probably soon it will be just released, like one more tool. And and what I'm seeing, some other commercial render engines are already developing their plugins for Blender or integration with Blender on different levels. Like we had this RenderMan announced, planned for the beginning of the next year. So generally, 2021 probably will be, a huge year of, official releases for things to cooperate with Blender.
Right? Yeah. And I gotta say, like,
and that's also cool for Cinema 4D users, for example. Like they know their render engine that they're using, for example, and then it's easier to just switch between softwares.
At least for CG guys, 2020 wasn't a completely shit year. Thankfully. Yeah. Thank you, devs.
You should check. There's this guy, John Oliver, week update. That kind of nerdy guy who talks about nerdy stuff, but he's also a comedian. And he made a season finale with and it was not CG, it was real. He said that 2020 was shitty, and he exploded a huge 2020 number on Desert. It was a very cool season finale.
Wow.
Yeah, just a little side comment.
Trivia there. Yeah.
Yeah.
I don't know but did any of us mention that Facebook is now a corporate Blender sponsor? Did we get to that yet, or
no? Not yet.
No.
Oh, well,
I wonder what's their point, because what's the
why would they do it?
And what they want to get out from it? Because I'm not talking in any kind of shady way. I think Epic is investing because they also can ask for some features, like for game development, right?
Well, that's the thing. They can't actually ask for features. That's the beautiful thing about they don't.
But they can see like a common goal with their development.
Yeah,
the development of the general environment for game creators and stuff.
But I think
for Facebook, it just might be just pure PR thing. But
no. See, that's
maybe
thing. Like I'm pretty sure because So, some time ago, I talked about PFU HD on our YouTube channel, and PFU HD is actually a Facebook a research for Facebook. I think it has something to do with the development of virtual avatars. So I think they're trying to find a way to for people to quickly take one photo of themselves and then end up having an avatar that they can that will fit into I don't know Facebook's new VR project, if that exists, or I don't know what they want to do with those avatars in 3D.
If you're not sure what they are up to, just go back to your collection of DVDs and watch Matrix again. That's what they're going for.
Yeah. But anyway, So, but the interesting thing about that is maybe we might be able to expect. I just said that you can't really force Blender to work on new features, but if if they work in Blender to test their content, to test whatever applications they're using, maybe at some point they plan to create some sort of bridge, between, like, maybe they make it so that you can create, like, you can link Blender to PIFU HD somehow, however it incarnates in a, like, there might be some automated way you could like fully texture and edit over your initial PIFU HD mesh. I'm not sure. I'm just speculating now, but for sure it has something to do with that. Like, they're definitely, it seems like social media for VR is slowly becoming a thing. Been reading a lot about how, like, this whole avatar thing is becoming a thing. So yeah, I wouldn't be surprised if we'll see a lot more. We'll see a lot more 3D users. If only to just kind of customize their avatar, like people picking up Blender and learning it just so they can customize their avatar. I mean, a few years from now, I'm sure it's going to be that easy. I mean, across the board, like, I'm pretty sure that it's going to be much easier to learn 3D, and for simple tasks, there might be some add-on you just need to enable, and then with a click of a few buttons, you have, like, your avatar, but with a slimmer waist, or I don't know what you want to do with your avatar, but yeah, it's I think it's heading there. Like, it's becoming something that's it's going to become a household sort of
and with
skill,
all these AI trained algorithms, machine learning things, they are heavily investigating on processing faces, human beings and stuff like that. I've seen that, for example, like, coming down to the user experience. I've seen the new feature in DaVinci Resolve that was released also this month, like the 17th. I think it's still beta, like the official public beta, but there's an option of auto generating masks for humans, right? So if you have footage with yourself, like, it's basically, it's kind of like making the green screen thing a little bit obsolete, right? You can just, like, cut out the shape of you or your character, automatic, like, detection of
automatic roto
creation. Something like that, and you can, like, pick if you want to just the silhouette, or you want some specific features like clothing or face or something like that, and it just automatically detects it, and it's pretty good at it already. So
that would be a fantastic tool for Stalin. Like, you pick the guy from movie and he disappears. Like, I don't know if you know, but in Stalin's time, there were huge achievements of manipulating photographs of people who were not, not should be shown anyway anymore in the historical. They edited history basically, and they didn't do it with Photoshop. There was one guy who was very good at it, and I had some magazine, photo magazine, when they showed that what they were able to do. So that's that feature should be called Stalin.
It should be illegal, right? Anyway, we're kind of like starting to live in times where things that were kind of like fantasies of of weird people, or just like literature fantasy, it's becoming reality.
With this kind of feature and AI, you would load your birthday video, and with one click, you get rid of your ex-girlfriend or somebody you don't like I don't know, just crazy uncle, whatever. Yeah, but I mean, this rotoscoping, like, at some point I started to play with 3D tracking. And I don't know if there's PF track, but also there was PF How, such a very, very cheap or free version, and you could just track the footage and some then use it for compositing with 3D. And at first it was fun with After Effects, like adding like weird stuff happening on my street. But then there was this moment when you actually had to do the rotoscoping. And though I don't remember the tool, which there are some professional tools which make this workflow much easier. But if this is going this way, it's like a huge obstacle like removed from the way. It's I don't think.
Yeah.
It's like unwrapping UV. I don't think. I mean, there are people who are just, this is their career, because I've seen tutorials and reels of guys who do roto, and this is their whole work, their whole specialization. But I guess it's finally it's only a technical part. I guess if you guys are listening to us and you know something more, or you disagree, let us know in the comments, or maybe you have some cool sources to share. Because as far as I know, this is something like unwrapping.
Yeah,
so
but it's kind of always like touching the sensitive point when you try to announce that AI is taking that job out. Sort of like I've had discussions online with people who, when I was suggesting that AI, like maybe not now, but really in the near future, will take over, for example, like rigging, because there's heavy research done on automated rigging and stuff. Like probably it might not totally wipe out the whole process of rigging, but maybe just automate some of the process. I'm pretty sure that it can quickly go to that level. Like I remember watching that AlphaGo movie where like people play like this super top level player. He was so sure that it's not possible that this AI algorithm will beat humans so fast, right? And then there was that huge shock when it came.
There was that moment when it sinked in. Like I was actually, it was like very important moment on that movie, the reaction of this guy, like oh my god, what's happening here?
Yeah, and that I think that like it might be shocking, it might be scary to some level, but then the funny thing out of this movie was that then he came to the conclusion that it's really just helps you develop yourself further, right?
Yeah,
it's just like a tool, another tool, and another step forward, right?
To figure out recently, to recent times, diamond was the hardest material, and you assess the hardness of a material by comparing it to something harder in numbers. So nobody knew what's real hardness of the diamond until they created recently some kind of harder material, so they could scratch it. They could scratch diamond with this new material, and because of that, they knew how diamond is really hard in terms of some there's some number. So it's the same thing. Like this guy got finally a challenge, and he could be even better. But when it comes to this auto rigging, I think like there's all the guys. I'm not. I don't know much about animation, but for example, I've seen some making of some movie about dinosaurs, and actually it was interesting because they hired a very specialized archaeologist. I don't know how to call him, who was specialized in dinosaurs, and he knew everything. The guy looked like 80 years old, like 100 years old, and they hired him as a consultant to learn from him about what he knew about dinosaurs anatomy. And in effect, he said that he worked with these animators, and he said that during like 3 months of working with them, he said he learned a lot about dinosaurs, and he will need to change a lot of ideas and theories he had, and like this is going to affect the publishing, scientific publishing, this work, because they showed him what's not possible and what's possible when it comes to animals. Some of the ideas were not possible when they started to animate these dinosaurs. These animators were very good at it, and they said, this is not how this animal can move. This is not possible. It will fall. So I think that, like, finally, guys who understand it at this level will be always needed. So finally, it's going to be the humans' idea, and it's like automatic retopology, and then you need a guy to check it out.
No, I don't know. I mean, going into the more sort of like meta thing about this whole AI thing. I mean, isn't it also great in a way that we can finally stop trying to act like machines? Like, nobody has to be a hyper specialist in any particular no. I mean, no. I mean, it's always a noble pursuit, right? But your survival may not necessarily be dependent anymore on nobody will have to work in a factory line. Nobody will have to be treated like a machine, because machines will be able to do.
Yeah, you can basically.
So maybe people can finally be a little more human now, right? Like, because of AI.
Yeah, that's one of the positive things. Or you can go to factory and kick ass of the, beat the shit out of this robot, the Boston Dynamics robot. I was sorry for him. I don't know if you've seen this video when they beat at him and he tried to do some task, and they just pushed him around, and I was really, I mean, it was weird, like,
whoa, really?
Yeah, it felt like really.
Have you guys?
And then people are kind of like wondering why these machines will try to kill us in the end.
In the end, this robot just went out from this warehouse and closed the door, and for me it was like, yeah, this is what he should do. He should, like, quit that job and slam the house. Fuck you guys. Not suitable for work, this podcast. But,
yeah,
like.
No, but like, I don't know if you, like, speaking of the Matrix, like, you remember seeing that they released like a series of animations on DVD.
Yeah,
about,
it was
right, and
Animatrix. Do you mean?
Yeah. Sorry, the animation. And then the first, right? The first was like was of like these people, kind of super abusing like the droids, right? The sort of the human replicants, until they had enough, and then they ended up destroying everything. And that, and now, and you're saying
it's kind of like the old idea in the Star Wars, like the original series, like the droids being really a little bit human-like.
Yeah. No, but I mean, like, and you're saying that this actually like, because I didn't see that Boston robot video, but they were like, I thought you meant beat by, as in like perform the job better, not literally kick them around. Oh man, this is the beginning.
They kind of kicked him around, like they just push the box from his hands. Basically, it was to prove that this machine can focus on the task, and you can distract it and throw obstacles at it all the time, and it will like pick up the box and finish.
Oh, they did it as an experiment. Okay.
Yeah, but finally
I thought it was just
like
people. Yeah.
some concentration camp.
Can't take your job.
Yeah, but by the way, Animatrix is better. In my opinion, it's better than the original Matrix. There's so much cool in many styles, animations. Very cool,
it was great. Yeah, and plus, like, I don't know if you guys like used to watch like Eon Flux on MTV. No. But that was like one of the animators there. Like he had a very like iconic style, and he had a piece there in that DVD, and I was in that series, and I was really surprised. It's like, oh wow, I can't believe they got him to work on something.
Oh, I need to check.
Yeah.
I didn't know Elon Flex.
She's like this. Like they're kind of. It's kind of like a. It's sci-fi, but it's sort of kind of biotech almost. So like they're like these they have these enhancements that come from, you know, like organic enhancements or things like that.
Oh, yeah.
At least as far as I remember. Yeah.
It's another way of thinking. It's kind of cyberpunk.
No, but it is cool. You should check out you should look it up if you can. Cool animation. And it's the 90s. It came out in the 90s. So
I noted it down. Okay, so do we have more updates?
Well, I actually had a list of Black Friday sales, but
maybe we'll add them as in comments.
Yeah. I just wanted to mention, because I almost forgot. Like, so you were talking about DAZ 3D and we were talking about Make Human earlier. So maybe the last thing I'll say is that DAZ 3D is at 50% off. So all their products are 50% off for the duration of of Black Friday, Cyber Monday. Well, now is Cyber Monday, isn't it?
Yeah. So I guess
so I guess
we'll
not
just have
not
to
relevant.
wipe their tears.
Yeah. So let's not publish that list after all. Are there any updates from the farm?
Even if with a very fast publishing process, I don't know if it's going to be.
We're not live.
Knowing us, this is probably gonna go up like early, like the first week of December. So yeah, sorry guys, like we're
unless it's longer,
Unless it's longer, yeah, yeah. No, but are there any updates on the farm side?
Yeah. There were some cool updates. So for After Effects, we released the version 12 plugin, and mostly I don't talk about the updates which are based on fixes, but After Effects is as you heard, it's 12, so it's a very young plugin and a very young support. So it was mostly fixing a lot of accumulated little bugs with our plugin and with After Effects. So it's going to be much more stable and much more useful. So it's like getting close to a reliable and stable support. But in addition to that, we added to Web Manager, our the manager of jobs. We added a new kind of jobs, which is video sequence. So basically, you can create a video sequence from rendered frames. You can just find the renders, right-click on it, and use create video sequence, and you are going to get like a submit window with many options, many codecs, and stuff like that. So it was mostly for After Effects users who finally want their videos to be rendered to some video format, because of course they can just download the frames as through the applications users, but they would need to put it, and very often they would need to just put it into some After Effects again, or to create a video. So, but you can also use it for animation. But I guess professional users are going to rarely use it. It's mostly for After Effects users. Also, we for Cinema 4D, we added to our Garage Farm YouTube channel, which is not the same as Garage Farm Net Academy channel. We added a tutorial how to render Cinema 4D high resolution still shot project using strip mode in our plugin. So for all Cinema 4D users, you can check how it works. And in Web Manager in general, we also added we improved jobs queue info. So when you log in and you monitor your jobs, you can see full information about number of jobs and frames on all priorities. So you can decide better what priority to use and kind of translate it to the waiting time. It's not maybe so obvious, but at least it's information. And also we added a default custom script, so we support default scripts. I mean custom scripts. Mostly these are our scripts which we add to for example bypass some rendering problems or deploy some software on Node, stuff like that. But also these are sometimes scripts which customer wants to run before rendering. And now, because we very often at this point you can add, the customers can add these scripts to their jobs, and they very often do that. We added a default custom script which is going to be added to your user settings, and it's added to all your jobs, so you don't have to do it per every time submitting the job if there's a script you are using all the time. And also by the way, when it comes to this video creator, so the options which you can set is format, codec, bitrate, and others. So also we added support for Redshift proxies on macOS for Cinema 4D in new plugin, and for Blender we added support for UDIM textures, and as I mentioned before, the seed denoiser, and that's it. That's the new features, like not fixes and stuff like that. I'm just skipping that. So that's it for November.
Yeah, the work continues.
Awesome.
All the time. Yeah, so I guess that's it for November.
Yeah, nice.
We can just prepare for the next month.
December. Just I mean, like there's Inktober, there's also Sober October, right? And there's November. Like what we could add to December, like what kind of challenge for December? Maybe our listeners, if you have ideas, you can add them in comments. It would be cool to I don't know, not just sit idle on sofa, on couch on December, but also just
generally December is like month when Christmas comes, so perhaps that will be kind of taking over the challenges.
Oh yeah, I didn't think about that. Yeah, that's true.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, so today we had the first snow in Poland. I mean, at least in my city, in Poznań.
Yeah, here we had just rain.
Well, it's just been much colder here, and I'm not complaining.
So it's just coming back to normal. Yeah, we had a nice procedural November snow here.
Yeah, so keep warm and keep on rendering.
Yeah, guys, see you later.
See you. Cheers.
Cheers.